Black Myth Wukong on the PS5. The Souls-like, but not a Souls-like, but it's a Sekiro-like, but also not really. The action RPG that's actually not really like a traditional action RPG. Yes, Black Myth Wukong is here. So in my last video I mentioned that I noticed the consensus for this game when it came to the reviews seemed to be revolved around this being an action RPG, but not in the conventional way. And so far I can totally see what they mean, and I agree with that. As I imagined, Black Myth Wukong is more of a boss rush game, and it has pathways in between that fork and lead into new boss fights. It's linear, but also not. And when I take these different pathways, I will find will, which is the currency of the game, as well as gathering items and materials, and then also taking down enemies as I go. Each time an enemy is defeated, then it builds up the level up meter, and when we do level up, we acquire a skill point, and these are called sparks. And this stands no matter how many times we die. You won't lose your currency or your level up progress. You just simply start over from the save point and continue your progress, basically like an action game. And an action game this really is, and especially when it came to that opening sequence. It was seriously a spectacle. It gave me serious God of War 3 vibes, where the scope of the fight was massive, and the narrative around it played an integral part to it. It was awesome to say the least, and really it set up my expectations to how big these fights can really get. And then the real game started, where I am not so powerful and I'm starting from scratch because video games. I quickly noticed that the first initial area of the game is meant to kill me over and over, especially against this guy. He's way too difficult up front, so I realized it's best I just go through these surrounding enemies and just kill them multiple times, basically farming them and then unlocking more skills. And once I had more skills, and even more importantly, my skill points distributed to the best areas, I was doing much better. Going the safe route of just leveling up health, that was a big no-no. At least it was for me. The good thing about Black Myth Wukong though is that you can respec your skills anytime. So that's what I did after a while of getting my butt kicked, and I realized that putting points into stamina first, as well as the martial arts, was way more smarter. Because again, this not being that traditional action RPG, the stamina I feel goes much further than the health does. You need stamina in this game. One big attack from an enemy or a boss and I was dead, so I may as well have the stamina to dodge it. So that's what I did, and the game got much more enjoyable after that. The other cool thing is that after defeating bosses, you can acquire abilities from them, which I really love. It adds more diversity to the combat as I go because the starting combat is, well, kind of basic, so unlocking skills and these different abilities are what makes the combat open up and get more fun as I progress. I like to think of Black Myth Wukong as like Sekiro's cousin that doesn't ever parry. At least so far I haven't parried a damn thing, because it's more about the dodging. And then you can also see we heal like this, very Sekiro-like, with a healing gourd. And they can be upgraded pretty early in the game. I have already ran into a few merchants, and it's pretty cool because they have their own little stores, and they even get their own little introductions as well. We can craft different gourds that help defend against poison and other elements, as well as buying and selling to these merchants. At the save points, however, we have a general store where we can buy things, and then we also can craft armor, which I really love. I've made this outfit right here and instantly got a bit more powerful. Not to mention we can also fast travel from these save points, so that of course comes in handy. As for the bosses, the meat and potatoes of this game, I've fought about 4 main bosses so far, and each one was unique and different as you can imagine. It's easy to want to hack and slash these bosses as well as the enemies, but I'd say it's more of a calculated hack and slash. When I get an opening, I slash. When they attack, I dodge. I get distance to heal and get my stamina back, but can't stay too distant or else watch out. So it's like a juggle of that, as well as using the abilities that have build-up meters. The more attacks you land, the quicker abilities are ready to use. So it's very much an action game in that way because there's incentive to attack, but it's also a calculated attacking. Again, this is like Sekiro's cousin here. It feels easier, but also I cannot take it lightly. As for the performance, this was kind of a big question mark going in. And depending on the option that you use, it can range from ew to okay, this looks pretty damn good. It feels good, and you just have to get the right settings to get it that way. I tried all the different options, quality, balanced, and performance when it came to the graphics, and I even tried them with or without motion blur. I actually found that the weak option for motion blur isn't that bad and actually helps this game look a bit better, which hurts to say, honestly, because I'm typically anti-motion blur, but in this game, the action can get a little fizzled. That's the best word to describe it. Ultimately, I ended up grooving with the performance mode with weak motion blur, and I've been using it since. It just looks the best in my opinion. It feels pretty good, and so far I haven't really felt like there is motion blur. It doesn't feel that way, so that's a good thing for me. Outside of the combat though, it's seriously a sight to see. It's a gorgeous game. The atmosphere is awesome. The foliage looks so vibrant. Look at these green colors right here. And the character models, they also look great too. All in all, it's a great looking game. It's just those fizzle frames during combat that can be a little bit jarring. But thankfully, I'm kind of getting used to it, and now that I've opened up the combat a bit more, I'm mostly just focusing on getting good. So I haven't really thought about that fizzle until this video again. So that's pretty much my first impressions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions about the game or you want me to focus on something specific. I'm enjoying it so far. For somebody who is into games like Sekiro and action RPGs and also games that kind of go outside the realm of that and do something a little bit different, where it's this boss rush kind of game where combat is king, and then also you have this somewhat interesting story and characters around it, as well as items and exploring that you can do too. It's linear, but it's not linear. It's open, but it's closed, and it's just kind of good. It just kind of works. So that's my thoughts so far. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, all right? Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.